Well, I was actually going to ask you what your engineering side. I don't know how big your engineering team, but you have quite a robust engineering division, isn't that right?
Yeah. Yes, yes. We have quite large engineering division, and we used to have debate in the past, like if whenever the company like ours really needs this strong engineering team. Uh, but I'm glad, like I was pretty stubborn on that. On that time, it was like really like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and it has proved itself over time.
Sorry, just to clarify, to bring you made an in-house team. That's what you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you have an in-house team.
Okay.
Which is covering all the functions. So like, structural, mechanical, electrical, all what you need. And it's not just one person in every just to control and kind of substitute with external companies, but to have it in-house. It's just so much support for executional side. It's not only delivering, engineering for the clients, but it's also a lot of synergy with our own operations. So we have external jobs just for pure engineering. We have a big engineering for big project that we provide, and we have a lot of small engineering to provide to change and support our operations. And obviously, operations can go like when they feel it's more flexible and faster. Sometimes they go outside, right? They don't use our engineering. But for everything what's slightly bigger, requires certain concept to build a methodology. Like no one can do it better than the engineers that know our executional team.
Right.
And the executional team that knows and has like direct contact with the engineers every day, right? They can grab the phone and, put a direct dial and just have the answer right away.
Well, so I'm going to bring two different things we've talked about together then, because in bidding, one of the issues is the scope of work cannot be fully realized as you're putting in the bid. And you talked about telling the truth. And you were talking, I kind of jumped in and said, you probably didn't hear me. I said, are you ever tempted to lie? Because you said we never lie. I said, are you ever tempted? And I would actually rephrase that in when you're trying to bid on a job, if you don't know full scope, you're kind of sometimes forced to, or feel like you're being forced to try to sort of measure the scope without having the full information. Does this large engineering team, does that eliminate some of that risk as a mining contractor, that you get a lot closer to the actual project?
Mm-hmm. It does. But remember, like garbage in, garbage out. So the engineering is helpful when they have a spectrum of information that they need.
Right.
But the good things also, or a strength is like when you have a good engineering, they also know what they need, and they know that they didn't get something that they need, and they tell you like, look, this is like 30%, unknown because we didn't get this, and this. So we give you certain assumptions, but without certain information, more information, we cannot deliver like 100% of assumptions. So for our methodologies and for our projects, engineering is a must. Almost all of that, right? It's involved in almost every bid, I would say.
So how do you do that?
The bigger the bid, the bigger the tender, the more in engineering involvement.
So how do you bid on these jobs when the scope is not fully? I mean, if going outside the mining industry, there's a water treatment plant.
It's never like unknown, right? Like the companies well, let's say when it's a junior company and they really don't know what's the scope, what's this about.
Yeah.
It's really vague. We actually avoid bidding such a
I
stuff,
see.
right?
Okay.
It's just too unknown, too risky. Like we explain why and what we answered, but like we say, like if we don't have this backbone, at least of information, then we're not able to deliver anything substantial, and we don't work to deliver something that's not substantial.
Right. Okay. So you are eliminating those.
We've done it in the past. We realize it's wrong, so we just come up front and say, like, if we don't have certain package of information, it doesn't make sense for us to sit down and work on it.
Well, and I'm going back because you were very specific. You said we do not lie, and that's a very direct thing to say on an interview. And it kind of what you're saying. It reminds me of a thing, a very famous prayer, of course, that lead us not into temptation. Don't set yourself up to be dishonest, because if you don't have the information, there's no way you can provide the right.